Hello everybody, it's Jake aka Korean Jew Trading, and in this video I will be talking about SONM, the Russian supercomputer blockchain. Before I go any further, I will let you know that this is not financial advice, this is my own opinion, and I actually spent a lot of hours researching to formulate this opinion with partnership from some experts in the field. So I do feel strongly about this opinion, but yes, it is not financial advice. Also, make sure that if you have benefited from any of my calls, or you just like my videos, you like my voice, you think I look like Gilbert Gottfried, whatever the case may be, hit that like button, subscribe, join the Telegram chat if you want to get up-to-date analysis and thoughts. I'm very active in there. In fact, if you were in there yesterday, you would have got calls for VEN and SONM, which are respectively up anywhere between 50 and 80% each. So it was really good. But yeah, towards the end of the video, I'm going to be bringing my friend Chris in, who has a more intricate and high-level knowledge of this technology and real-world cases, because he's somebody that would definitely be able to utilize this tech. So he's going to really talk a little more detailed. I'm just going to go through the thought process of why I've chosen this project and why I think it's so phenomenal of an opportunity for us to get in on something that's actually could be huge. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Golem. Why am I talking about Golem? Golem was one of the, well, in crypto, it was the name when you think of supercomputer technology. So a lot of people would talk about how Golem, you're going to be able to use all your devices and run an app like old devices if you have an old cell phone or a computer while you're at work, and then they can democratize those devices, and someone on the other side of the planet would be able to take all these different people's power coming from their devices and use it for whatever they want to do with it. And get paid for it. So it's really an awesome concept, and like a lot of people, Golem had its day. Like if you look at the chart here, and similar to a lot of tokens actually in the beginning of 2017 really ran up very high. At its height, it was at about 575 million market cap. So there's definitely an interest in the space for this technology. The problem with Golem, and there are other problems, but they do have a 6-year roadmap. So, I mean, who knows 6 years from now, like, what will happen? A lot of people are still holding on to their Golem, but to me, SONM right away looked like they were going to really get something done in a very short period of time. They actually, the devs in Telegram said that they would be expecting to have something really working before the end of the year where you can actually generate SONM. But definitely by Q2 of 2018, they're going to have more of like a polished product to use. So that's what got me kind of really looking into it. The other component to why I like SONM and how I actually stumbled across it was, if you watched my Americans Buy Bitcoin video, where I had a couple glasses of wine and I was kind of pissed off about the way things were going with China, how they're manipulating the market. I did bring up my own personal opinion that China is kind of gift-wrapped crypto and mining and the whole thing for one of the other two superpowers. And I think China and USA are superpowers. Russia, maybe they're a fledgling superpower. They're not a superpower in the grand sense of economy and military prowess. They're certainly formidable, but when it comes to tech and computers, they're absolutely a superpower. So China's still, playing this game. I'm in, I'm out, and Vlad Putin's not a dumb guy, and there have been a lot of reports of Vitalik has met with Putin. The Russian government's they're talking about expanding mining, and basically what SONM does is it allows people with miners, like the GPUs or laptops, devices, to basically perform jobs. SONM is the platform where other companies can join them and that need these type of services, like what's that called? Like AWS for Amazon. IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Microsoft offers that, but the biggest one is Amazon, AWS, where they offer cloud computing services for hosting and numerous other things. So Chris is going to get deeper into that, but my thought process was that Russia they could certainly make a play. And the other part is that if you look at blockchain and where we're heading, almost the majority of the newer blockchains, older ones are switching over from proof of work, which is miner heavy, to proof of stake, which is more you're staking your tokens, and there is not a need for miners. Now, Ethereum is becoming more and more expensive, not expensive, less profitable to mine. So there's all these computers and power out there, mining power, devices. Every year they make new iPhones. More and more of these devices are floating around, but they're not being used. So there's definitely a major niche where you can take and look at cloud services. It's a huge business. If you can find a way to channel those devices into productive power, that would be huge. So let's look. That was what got me excited at first. Oh, okay, a Russian supercomputer blockchain. Then I started to look into the team. These guys, I've looked into it. I've had people that are heavy into tech look into it. Like this guy, he's done a lot of work in this space. The second dev, Anton, he works for Yandex, which is like Gmail's. Russia's Gmail, huge company. And if you look at his like LinkedIn, it's like he started at the bottom. He just worked his way up, and he has tons of relevant experience when it comes to this. They have Max from Lisk as an advisor, pretty much their lead advisor. Lisk is a JavaScript smart contract platform, which is pretty awesome also. We could do another video about that. I actually like Lisk, but that connection where you have Lisk with SONM, and now SONM just today announced that they're partnering with a company called Selectel, who is one of the bigger Russian I always forget that IaaS services. They're competing with Amazon in Russia. It's a pretty large and well-established company. They have just partnered with SONM, and I actually got the opportunity to see the CEO join the Telegram chat in the SONM Telegram chat, and was talking about his plans to utilize SONM for back-end cloud computing services for existing and future contracts. So that was actually really good news. So yeah, basically in a nutshell, this project is something that most people don't know about. The other thing that I do when I research is I want to see what type of exposure it has in the space. So I looked at like Google searches. Were people searching for SONM? No, like hardly any. I looked at cash tags on Twitter. Was anybody talking about it? Just the people like in SONM. So nobody was talking about it. It was flying completely below the radar. As an ICO, they raised, I believe, 42 million, which is very reasonable. That's kind of what you want to see in an ICO. You don't want to see 200 million, or 150. What are they going to do with all this money? You also don't want to see 10 million, because that means no one was interested and they don't have the working capital to actually get this project off the ground. So 42 million was a very reasonable number. Yeah, so let me turn it over to my buddy Chris, because he can explain the real details a little better than I can. So I looked into it and I said, I think we might have something here. It's on Binance. It's half of the price of the ICO. Like I picked it up originally about 2,500, and then yesterday when I was sharing it with the Telegram group, people were picking it up under 2,200 satoshis. Today it went all the way up to 4,000. I believe long term, if you look at the market cap and what Golem was able to do with a 6-year roadmap and a white paper to 500, almost 600 million. By next summer, SONM is going to have something working and contracts and stuff's going to start happening for them. If they were to do some sort of partnership with Lisk, that would be huge. There's also a rumor floating around out there that STORJ, STORJ, is also looking to partner with SONM, which would be huge. And somebody brought that up in Telegram, and they didn't deny it, they didn't confirm it either, but they just basically said that there is news coming out very soon. So stay tuned. Now, moving forward, I'm really excited and would like to introduce my friend Chris. He's going to talk a little bit more about what he uncovered looking through SONM. And yeah. Hey Chris, how you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself, Jake?
All right, I'm hanging in. Everybody, this is Chris Black. He's a good friend of mine and somebody that's really instrumental in my research as far as diving into SONM from higher level. Chris, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then you can tell us about SNM, no Rihanna. So
Sure. Well, I'm a CTO, president and CTO for a company called Go Sports, which is a media broadcasting company for mid-tier sports. Been doing that for a few years. Very challenging, or super tech geeky kind of stuff. We are currently using AWS platform for our distributed networking, distributed computing, and data storage, etc. So at a certain point, I was looking for alternatives, and one of those was Golem and Elastic, both of which were projects that weren't really ready yet. So when he spoke to me about SONM, I checked it out and actually started looking into the project, and it was very illuminating.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Chris. So you guys know, like, look at stuff together from time to time, and he is one of the. He can be skeptical at first, but once I know he got in contact with the CTO from SONM and was able to really kind of grill him in the Telegram, and basically what you got from him was transparency for one thing. But can you tell me a little bit about that experience and what you learned?
Yeah, I mean, the group is extremely Russian. I mean, they're. I don't think that English
Yeah,
is.
yeah. You know, it's funny. I was asking them, like, who does your PR? And I'm like, I think you guys can do a little bit better there. And like, what do you mean? I'm like, how about Twitter? I know it's not that active yet. And he goes, we work with the tweeter. I'm like, uh-oh. I think there's room for growth there. But
Yeah. Well, you can tell that they're not really concentrating on marketing just yet. They're really concentrating on the functionality of their product. And I think that so far it's shown a lot because they're a lot more mature where a project is concerned
right.
than the other solution providers in the same space. There are three others, three major ones anyways, which is GNOME, Elastic, and iExec. And I think SONM, not only do they have something that's a bit more mature at this point, but they also have roadmaps that are clearly more attainable. We went in a couple
6 years on Golem.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm looking at this as someone that might want to migrate our current platform off of AWS into something that's more peer-to-peer, like the blockchain. There's a couple of other products that are not AWS or Google that exists out there, but they didn't exactly do everything that I needed to do. Now this SONM product looks really interesting, not only for its versatility in what it supports, where programming languages are concerned, but also frameworks. I really like Node.js, for example, and they support that fully. So that's going to be something that's going to be important to look for in a product like this.
So we keep talking about Golem because really that's kind of the measuring stick for me as far as supercomputing in the blockchain. That's the top name. In July, they made it all the way up to $600 million market cap with really nothing to show for it. So there's definitely interest in the space. But to me, I was looking and there's certain things and components to it that seem to be glaring weaknesses, but I needed to ask Chris what he thought because I'm not a tech guy really. I'm really a layperson when it comes to this type of stuff. So the one thing that was consistent is the language that Golem is written in is something called Python, which I know you've had experience with, but I want to tell the people about the difference between Python and how the SONM platform is written and what that means for developers.
Yeah, well, as I said, the SONM is more of a an application platform that supports languages and frameworks.
Right.
Whereas that's the difference between a language like Python or Yandex Cocaine, which is what SONM supports, which supports other languages itself. So you can actually write something in Python for the SONM platform if you wanted to, but you can also write it in Perl, you can write it in C, you can write it in Java, you can write it in Node.js, whatever you want. So it's a lot more flexible. We're looking at this both two different perspectives. You're looking at it more of its market value as a token. I'm looking at it as an actual use case. And if I was going to have to choose today what kind of platform that I was going to migrate my platform on, it would be Node.js. It would be SONM over any of the others that exist right now. For this reason that I've got more flexibility for the developers. It's got a much more clearly defined roadmap. It addresses security a lot better than most of the others do. So it's got a lot of things going for it. I want to do more in-depth research because obviously I'm not just going to say I'm going to take my working platform off of Amazon and put it on an experimental thing. But I think that they have the potential of having something that's mature for me to migrate within a year, maybe max 2. Whereas the other ones we're looking at 4 or 5 years down the road. And that's frankly too far in technology. That's
to me, it's one of those spaces where or markets where whoever plants the flag first, kind of owns it, or at least has the advantage. And you'll find that businesses and consumers will migrate towards that. Whoever comes out with the working platform first. And one of the things that was consistent with the devs and with the language that they were using, there were additional functionalities that you were asking about. And they said, you know what, that's down the road. Right now, what we want to do is put something out that people can use right away. And, they definitely have plans to improve, but their main focus certainly appears to really make something within the next 6 months or so. So that was also really exciting for me.
We can do that. We can do that. That kind of hits a lot of alarm bells in my head.
Right.
Because they can all say that, but he was actually really upfront. Says no, this is not in our immediate plans. It might be in our plans later on, but we're going to mitigate that by doing this and that and the other. He didn't use the word mitigate, but that's what he meant. We're going to cover those functionalities.
But it was like we got a hold of the CTO and like that, and he was really available to us and
smart group.
So. And this is more of a broad scale thing. And obviously, you're not just a tech guy. You are a speculator of some sort. You do invest in crypto, and you've been around. So for me, it's like I had this epiphany where I'm looking at these newer coins. And my own strategy is I'm looking for stuff that has value, has a solid team, has the fundamentals to go the distance.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, has not had that. It's not turned the corner. It hasn't made that parabolic growth. So in this space, you have experts, YouTubers, people, all sorts of different characters that, they've been in here for maybe a year, a few years, some of them 6 months. Anyone that got in January, and my friend told me to buy Ethereum, and now they have 30 Bitcoins, you couldn't miss in January. Yeah. So if you look at the chart, you see all these other altcoins. You name any of them, like Ethereum Classic, Ripple, Steam. You can just throw a dart at CoinMarketCap and look at the chart and see what they did in Q1 and Q2 of 2017. They all had thousands of a percentage of growth. So people made a ton. They made a killing, right? You included. But so these people have these tokens that they bought for dirt cheap, and they took a risk. In January, the market cap was 10 billion, right? Mm-hmm. Buying altcoins, like buying Redcoin or Verge or Doge in January, nobody expected to get 5,000% within 6 months, right? And that was a high-risk investment. So now you have these quote-unquote experts saying you have to buy, these coins that are going on a downward trend and hoping that they will reclaim prominence in the space, meanwhile discounting the newer stuff. And to me, what I'm seeing is, the market hasn't changed. There still is an opportunity to hit big gains. We see it all the time. But, want to have solid stuff, the stuff that's going to be around. But at the same time, you have to take a shot too, right? What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right with that. And now you gotta be a bit careful about the tokens you speculate on, because yeah, a lot of them are just gonna die. I won't name any of them right now because some people are really attached to their coins. That's something that's probably one of the trade 101 no-nos. You should never get attached to anything, but some people really are. So I'm not going to talk against any other coin. But however, some of them will die because they haven't delivered. One thing that I like about SONM is that they already ICO'd. So it's not about, squeezing more money out of the market. They're already ICO'd. They're still working diligently on the product. On the contrary, the team got bigger. They're hiring right now.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
just
really
partnered with Selectel.
yeah, exactly. Partnership with Selectel. So they've got a lot of things going for them, and you can see that they're going for growth. I mean, if I was to speculate on this coin, yeah, would I like to see my investment go to 5,000%? Or would it? Yeah, I would. The
We can't guarantee that, but
yeah.
but it has the potential to do something. That's all I'm saying.
It has the potential to do something very well, and I don't think that that is going to go downwards, because this company is actually growing.
It's like half the ICO price. Well, it went up a little bit, but there's still no exposure. That's my philosophy. I want to be first. As far as like a retail investor, if I have an opportunity to be first, and what I mean by first, stake my claim before the masses flood. I'm not going against the trend. If something's not a hot trend, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go against the crowd, and I'm gonna bank on this reversing. No, I'll look for something that works. It's a road that no one's traveled yet, for the most part, and then hope that some of the people in the space start to get attention. That maybe some of these roadmap events hit, news comes out. So somebody a little bigger than myself, because I have like a few hundred subscribers. This is an exclusive group. It's not like I put this video out and everybody knows about it. This is still early, so it's really exciting. And I know you got to go, so I really appreciate your time, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, you know what to do. Click that like button, subscribe, and I think that about wraps it up, right?
Yeah, and it's my pleasure, Jake. And at the same time, when I finish doing my due diligence for the 4 systems, because I'm going to have to present that to the board when I go to change it, because it's going to be a considerable investment to change platform, I'll share my findings with you.
All right. Well, guys, look forward to that. Really exciting. Thank you.
Thanks.